they're blending in a little bit, but these are my old pillars. Well, I mean, they're still my pillars, but this is the fabric on the old, and I'm about to change it up and wrap it in this wild stuff. So I'm pretty positive that I already have a video of me doing fabric stuff when I put those on my channel, but if I don't, then they will have this one. So I'm just gonna show the process pretty much. I'm using Locktite spray adhesive. It's multi-purpose. It says fabric right there. So I'm using that. I'm gonna be, well, this is an example right here. You can see the plastic. I'm just gonna peel the old stuff off and cut all of these pieces out, or as much as I need for these pieces, and just put new on. So I'll kind of just walk right through the first one, and then I'll do the rest like on time lapse. So enjoy. I'm just gonna start out with the biggest piece first, and I'm just gonna go ahead and take all this stuff off, which shouldn't be that hard. Some of the edges are stuck pretty good, but so now we got, you can see how they used to be painted, which was pretty cool. But that kind of makes you want to run these again just because it looks neat. But now I've already gotten this piece cut out, kind of the shape I need it. And whenever I do it, I like flip the new fabric upside down so I know exactly the shape that it's gonna be in when I lay it. So as you can see, this is about what you want to do. Got a nice a little bit extra around the edges so that once I lay it flat like this, I can get this about where it needs to be, and I'll start about in the middle of the panel and do half at a time. So once I start, I'll lift this way, spray all of this, and use my hand to smooth it out all the way up. And then I'll do the top surface first, and once all that's stuck, then that's when you flip it over and tuck all the edges. So I'm gonna do that real quick. So just make sure that this is in the right spot, because you don't want to start this and then realize you don't have it lined up correctly. So as long as all of your fabric is overhanging your piece, then you know you're in good shape. And make sure you pull it around all the edges, because you don't, if you set one spot in place, once you get halfway through it, you can't really go back. So just make sure that you got enough. And I cut this a little bit closer than I probably should have, but that's just because I want to make sure I don't run out of material. So that should be good. It looks like everything's overhanging all right. So now, like I said, I'll put my hand right here so I know the back part's not gonna move. And then just start with like a thin line right here on top. And you want to start with the flat surfaces first, because that's the easiest part. That's what's going to get it stuck in place. And you want it to be flat. Just use your fingers and kind of just follow the panel, and that'll keep it flat. Just do a little bit at a time. So once you've done it a few times, it's a little easier to do, but for your first time, just take it slow so you don't wrinkle it up or anything. You should be good. So hopefully you guys can tell what I'm doing. Now that I've started with that piece, this whole section right here is all set in stone. So the rest of my piece, it shouldn't matter how much I move it, because I'll be able to track it back to this point and make sure it's all straight. So I'm just gonna go ahead and finish this piece, and then I'll show you about tucking the edges. Some spots like this, you can see right there where there's wrinkles. When it's doing a curve like this, you can tell it curves like that. Sometimes you have to make a release or a relief cut right here, and it just kind of helps you be able to work with the material a little bit more. So you don't want to cut it all the way up to the edge, but if you just cut it a little bit before, or stop the cut a little bit before the edge of your panel, which I'll have to put the camera down probably to get it. Yeah. Now you can see that cut all the way about up to the edge, so it lets this piece kind of be relieved. It doesn't want to be stretched as much, so you can see how this one's like all straight, because it's all the fabric's wanting to go a different way. So if you're getting to an issue like that where it starts to wrinkle, you just do a little relief cut almost to your edge, then you should be able to work with it, and it should work all right. Example of the relief cuts just kind of helps the fabric form to it a little bit more. So as you can see, I've done pretty much the outside of all of the fabric. So where there's stuff like this, this is the edge right here, so it's got a little bit more excessive overlay. I'll go and trim that out a little bit more, and then once I do that, I'll be ready to tuck the edges. Now I'm on the back side doing the edges. As you can see, that's nice and clean. So the key is to, once you're to this point, so this is still flimsy, obviously, you can tell your edges here. Well, you want to spray a little bit of adhesive right in this area, and whenever you stick it, you want to pull it really tight, and then that is what keeps the top side from wrinkling. So as long as you go around like this and it's all nice and tight, it'll still conform to the panel, which this is where your relief cuts come in handy, because you can see there where it's just right to the edge, and that allows this to be like broken up or misshapen, and it keeps this side good and flat. So I'm gonna go around and do that to the rest of these, and it'll be done. All the edges are nice and tight for the most part. This right here was a little bit difficult because these like fins come up, but I was able to just kind of press them in between those. So now, as you can see, we've got a nice wrapped panel, and that's all you gotta do. So I'm just gonna do that on all my other ones, and we'll be good. So here we go. Alright, it's the next day, same video, but I'm trying to figure out how I'm gonna wrap this piece right here. So what I think I'm gonna do is leave these faces black and maybe use the fabric like this, kind of cut the edge as straight as possible and wrap it to where it follows that, and then maybe the same where I cut a straight edge and kind of wrap it right along the edge of this and maybe overlap it right here, which there'll be a little bit of a seam, but I think I'm just gonna go with that and hopefully that'll work. That's the best way I can think. So I just thought I would include that because this is gonna be the more difficult one to try to do. So I'm just gonna see if I can make it work, and maybe I'll time lapse it or something so you guys can see how I'm doing it. Alright, so I'm pretty sure whenever I started filming this video, it was light out, which I've done some things other than just this, but I finally got this one done. I got some good time lapses, and I just went ahead and cut straight edges on all these because there's gauges, so you won't really be able to see them too much. If you're in the car, it kind of looks like that right there. That's about perfect. So with the gauges in, it won't look bad at all. Plus, like from the outside, that's about what it'll look like. So you can see some edges a little bit, but my other one wasn't hardly covered at all, so this is like a big improvement, and it's got color all around it. So the fabric worked pretty good. I had to work with it a lot, but made it happen. So thank goodness I'm actually done. Every pillar's wrapped now. I just got to go reinstall that one and I'll be done. So that was probably the best how-to right there. I got a good time lapse of all of them, so we'll get that installed and it'll be done. So hope you enjoyed, and I will see you in the next one.